Bellefontaine, and you're listening to the HomeBuyer's Hour. And we got everybody in the studio today, so I'm just going to get right to it. Patrick, I'm going to start with you, please. Give us an introduction on who you are and why you're so special to me.
Good morning, Charlie, and everyone else.
A little bit of a brain stall right there.
Yeah, my name is Patrick Loftus.
Oh, stop.
Wow. Hey, all right, fine. Find me on social media. Don't call or text me. I'm too busy. I get stressed out. But anyways, social media. Instagram, Loftus_law. Find me on TikTok at Loftus Law. Loftus, by the way, is spelled L-O-F like Frank, T like Tom, U-S like Sam, because for some reason, many people, Loftus, can't figure it out. So there you go. Gave it to you.
My favorite real estate agent is in the room with me as well.
Where?
And the reason why he's my favorite is he has that unique ability to shut you down, Patrick, when you start getting like that.
Please.
Steve, if you don't mind, give us a rundown on give us a rundown on you and the real estate business you're in.
So my name is Steve Davis. I work for Real Brokerage. My number is 312-513-6314. You can find me on Instagram at I'm Steve Davis, and of course on Facebook.
And Joey Mathews normally joins us, but he's not going to be with us today. Somebody else from the frontline team is with us. Joey Olson, please give us the rundown on you. And I want to know what's going on in the market world today, too, before we get into the good stuff.
All right, Joey Olson, Neighborhood Loans on the frontline team, 708-969-0827. Best way to reach me is definitely text or call. Want to go right into the market update?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, so this week's kind of light, but actually last time I was here, we were talking about rate increase or decrease, and
I don't think anything's happening, right?
No, not soon. We were betting on May last time I was here, and that's not happening.
Did not it's that bad.
Said if I'm betting man, I'm going to not bet on a rate decrease.
No.
But jobs report came in shy of expectations last week, so that was like the first time in months. So we saw a little bit of a decrease in rate. And then this week's pretty light on news, so.
Yeah, but unless we get inflation, you're not going to, super high inflation, you're not going to see them lowering rates.
No, but you need to stop spending money, Charlie. I know it's you.
I did it again.
You're the one who's spending all the money, with your fancy vacations and your
fancy
orange
cars,
appliances, and you just bought a car. You just bought a car.
You just bought a car.
Well, it was Wednesday or Tuesday. Of course, I just bought a car. You buy a car every Tuesday.
Stop it.
No,
stop it.
I'm going to keep buying. My name is Charlie Bellefontaine. And I have the unfortunate thing to be in the room with these three guys.
Yeah.
But they're going to be beating me up all
Rough
day
crowd
today.
That's right.
I own Chicagoland Home Inspectors, and we also own Home Inspection University of Illinois. If you're interested in joining the home inspection profession, please reach out to me. My phone number is 312-544-9180. Repeating, 312-544-9180. If you press option number 3, that'll make my phone ring. And if you want to pick on the radio, guys, you could actually make it ring right now, but I won't answer it. So the things I want to talk about today is, and I know a lot of people have been talking about the NAR settlement and what it's going to mean to the real estate profession. And I really believe that, when it comes to buyer's agencies, I think there's going to be a lot of people that are going to start questioning things. I think there's going to be, and I know you guys are going to disagree, so I want to hear what all three of you say.
I disagree.
But I believe that
I definitely disagree.
a lot of people are going to try and do things on their own. They're going to go ahead and just have their attorney fill out the paperwork on the contract, or maybe one of these tech companies. And Steve, correct me if I'm wrong, but Real is more of a tech company. Even though there's human beings here to do it, Real is a pretty big tech company when it comes to real estate, right?
They specialize in tech. That's one of the biggest reasons. They're a cloud-based company versus a brick and mortar. And with that, they have focused all of their, for about 10 years, they really are starting to come out now. But as far as a actual opportunity brokerage-wise, but they are focused on tech.
So there's got to be something that they're going to be doing when you're looking at houses.
Yep.
And you say, I want to start seeing these things. They're going to start getting all the proper paperwork to be compliant with the new changes that are going to happen with NAR. And I got a feeling that the sometimes it's going to be, you're going to have a hell of a lot more power being a listing agent than you are a selling agent, is my thought process.
You're talking about buyer's agent, correct? That's what you meant by
Right,
selling
but
agent.
isn't it, I thought listing and selling is what's listed in our laws. Here
That's
in
what it
Illinois.
says on the multi-board in
On the
any event,
multi-board.
which is a little confusing
It
because
is, right.
Listing agent is pretty easy to figure out, but when it says selling agent, you go, wait, selling agent, that is for the buyer, and that's the terminology. I think if you're trying to be technical, then you're probably speaking with the correct terms. I think that colloquially, and I said that word, you would probably it would be easier just to say buyer's agent or seller's agent is I think going to be more understandable by most people.
And you're right, and I shouldn't. But what's your thought? I really think that you're going to see a lot of people try and cut out the buyer's agent.
So, in order to sustain your ability to be in this business, you're going to have to prove your worth. The fact is that through the years of me being in real estate for 18 years, didn't really have to prove much except for, this is my company. These are my tools, if you will. This is my marketing ideas. Either you like me or you don't type thing, and I get hired, or I don't.
But that's not that hard, is it? You put these things down in the
No,
bullet
it
board.
wasn't. It wasn't before.
But
the
you
fact
are-
is,
but-
it's not just about. Hold on. It's not just about charisma
See,
anymore.
I told you. Thank you, Steve.
It's not just about. It's not just about charisma anymore. That's how you used to be able to do most of the things. All right. Now it's
I
all
agree.
about your skill. If you don't have skill, I don't care how much charisma you think you have. You are not getting the deal. You are not getting the client, because the clients out there now are like, okay, you're going to prove your worth to me, or I'm not hiring you. And the fact is, there's going to be a lot of agents out there, as we were speaking this morning, that are a little nervous and a little bit, I don't know how I'm going to sustain my ability to be a realtor. Well, guess what? You have to work. You actually have to provide a value, not just, I can sell your house. Anyone can sell a house. Anyone can work with a buyer. Do you have the knowledge? Do you have the experience? Do you actually know what you're doing? That's the difference.
How do you put that in writing and make it short, sweet, something that somebody will actually read, understand? How do you get
First of all, Charlie, if you know me, it takes me forever to explain anything. But the point is that when it comes to putting it in writing, it's the fact of you're selling yourself. You're selling who you are, what you represent. It's about your company, but it's also about who you are and the value you bring to that client.
All right.
There's
Let
not really.
me answer that question, because I know it was a question, that statement.
Okay.
Why are you pointing at him?
Because
So
I
rude. He
want
does.
to point to everybody.
He's excited today.
I am a little excited.
He did buy a car
So
yesterday and
Let me
helped with
answer
the
that for
inflation.
my business,
Spending
because
all
I
the
believe
money.
in everything that you're saying. And I went ahead and we thought about it. What do we do different than any other home inspection company? All
Sure.
right. One of the things that I personally do, first of all, we have 10 inspectors in our company. They go out there and do the inspections. I don't. I do a Zoom call with our clients afterwards, and I don't think there's any other company
Nope.
that does this.
None.
We use more tools than any other company, and those tools include thermal imagers, moisture meters, drones. We use combustion analyzers. We also provide more ancillary services than just about any other company, and that includes radon, chimney scans, pool inspections, irrigation systems, fire inspections when it comes to it, mold testing, lead paint testing, just to name a few, and I know I'm leaving a few off.
Are you?
Put those
Sewer
in
scope.
writing.
Did you say sewer scope?
I did say sewer scope. If
Hey,
I didn't, I'm just going
he
to lie
already said
about it and
enough.
say I said it.
Okay.
Jeez.
But we offer all those things
Guys are
because a
rockstar.
lot of our clients want to one-stop shop, and they want to make sure that they're not going to try and be sold. I put those in writing, and every single person who interviews our company, they're going to get that text. And they're going to get that information that I sent to them. So I want to push this back on you three.
Well, yeah,
I
I
want
want
you
to. I
to
want to
give me
actually
your
rebuttal
list.
on that one, or whatever.
Go ahead.
So respond to it. So first of all, you're absolutely right. You need to not just put it on paper, though. You
Okay.
need to prove it.
Good point.
So in other words, when I'm sitting down with you and I'm explaining to you how I'm going to sell your house, or how I'm telling you about this document that you're going to need to sign, or this is what a listing agreement is, I'm going to tell you what it is, then I'm going to put it in front of you, then I'm going to fill it out in front of you to explain to you how this all works.
Why are you
so it's
hitting
proof.
stuff?
What's that?
Why are you hitting stuff?
I'm excited. So that is the difference.
Violent.
That is the difference when it comes
I know he's pointing.
when it comes
Start pointing.
when it comes to providing your value is being able to prove it, not just say it. So it makes a big difference.
So I want to hear. Prove yours. What's your worth and how do you prove it?
Okay, so first of all, besides the fact I go above and beyond for my clients, okay, and I've proved that and shown that many, many times from someone actually, calling me and saying, hey, my basement just got water in it, so on, and I can't be there, so on. Hey, the keys in the lockbox, great. I run over there with a shop vac. I make sure I clean it all up, so on. Then I get
And this is a listing that you just had.
I had it. It was it was last year. But the point is like that's above and beyond aspect. So I make sure I take care of it. So if they're away, things get taken care of. I had another situation where I told them not to leave make sure the thermostat was working properly. They left. The battery died. Water came through. It was a super cold night.
Oh no!
And the water came in, and so they were out of town. And I went over there. I took care of it. The next day, I had people over there, taking care of the problem, so on. So the above and beyond aspect, that's a proof. It's also, explanation, right? That's just one thing.
It's a good story.
The other things are like, when I sit down with you, I'm not only going to say, hey, Mr. Seller, or hey, Mr. or Mrs. Buyer. It's the fact of, what is it that's important to you? How can I help you? How can I help you strategize on how to sell your property? What's important to you? There's a lot of different questions that you need to ask. There's a lot of different things you need to understand so that you can provide a value to them that other people don't.
All right. Joey, I want to push this off on you as well. I mean, let's be realistic. The three of us, Steve's the real estate agent, mortgage broker, attorney, home inspector. If we start losing buyers agents and they're not in here, what are you going to do? What happens when somebody starts loan shopping? Why should they work with the frontline team as opposed to anyone else?
And try to explain this without pointing at anyone or hitting something.
No. Yeah, no. So the hard part is, I really think, is when you do your job right, it does seem easy, So I've always gone back to it. It's like a good realtor, a good loan officer, like that gives the impression that anybody can do it. But it's like the farthest thing from the truth. So you have to explain it, what actually goes into it, but at the same time, not stress them out. Say, hey, this is what I'm going to handle for you. It's a value proposition,
I know I end up sending a few clients your way whenever they have, especially veterans, they have a problem with the person who's running their VA mortgage right now.
Yeah.
And they're giving me these horror stories. I'm like, well, that's not true. That's not accurate. And I learned so much about the minimum property requirements and the minimum property standards, from Joey, being on the show so long.
Yeah.
I see the value in that. I see the value in all three of you.
Yeah, if someone's having a problem with a VA loan, the loan officer doesn't know what they're doing. I mean, it's just plain and simple. I mean, that
I
loan,
agree with that.
That loan is actually great.
Yeah.
But if people don't know how to navigate, they might do like 1 or 2 a year,
If that.
Well, hence again, you got to go to a professional for things like that.
Having done this show as long as I have, I feel like I'm kind of also a VA loan nerd now. I just don't have the moniker.
Well, you got the cup or the mug, so that's all.
I do. I didn't bring it today, but
You're in the same situation. I mean, I see
damn
your
mug.
value because I've been with you for a couple years, once a week, talking about all these things. But how are you going to explain your value as an attorney when you only have basically 30 seconds to get that point across?
Yes, Patrick. Why don't you explain to us?
You're not going to have a real estate agent who's going to defend you. I've got my fingers out.
You already said it. I mean, I don't even really have to add to what you said. You spend 3 hours a week with me. God bless you. And we've gotten to know each other and to appreciate each other's expertise and what we bring to the table. I would just give them the HomeBuyersHour.com and I'd say, look, go check that out, because that's me talking in an extemporaneous manner.
I'm not sure. Use another 4-syllable word. Yeah. I swear I'm going to start throwing that malarkey flag at you.
None of this is a sales pitch, right? None of what I'm doing here is a sales pitch. What it is, this isn't sales, this is marketing, right? And what I'm marketing is what I have up here. And how do I demonstrate that? Well, I'm probably not going to be able to do that in 30 seconds. But what I can say is, look, you don't need me to do a sales pitch for you. I'm a lawyer. I'm not a salesperson. But what I've done is I've put enough of what I am about, what I know, my expertise, my personality, go check that out. Watch for 5 minutes and see, is that a guy who I think has, what it takes up here to guide me through the legal aspects of a real estate transaction. And, I'll let what I say speak for itself. Think about that for a second.
No, I think it is powerful because you do share a wealth of knowledge that comes in.
I was sold on the 4-syllable word. Don't know what that means and can't spell it. I'm definitely using
That's
it.
the best thing about hanging out with attorneys. They all of a sudden they'll say something and you're like, what is that? Like, their vocabulary is unreal. It's spectacular.
But nobody knows what it means.
No,
All
no one
they
knows
hear-
shit.
It's like talking to my dog. It's like blah blah blah, blah blah blah. Archie, Betty,
Holy
want to go outside?
wow.
Blah 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 blah.
Oh, I thought you'd get up to go over there.
Right? Oh, I just got a malarkey flag thrown at me and stuff like that. So,
Oh, man.
Steve,
Yeah.
I think that people buying homes are going to be presented with an agreement that says you're going to pay me 2.5%, and then they're going to look at this. I'm like, no, I'm not. No. What do you think a buyer's agent is going to want to respond with that?
I mean, first of all, when you have a conversation with someone and you're going to be working with them, so I am all SOI. So that means I am all referral based. I am not a billboard. I am not a, whatever. My whole thing is that when I work with someone, they know my value before I even start talking to them. Now, that doesn't always necessarily mean that they will want to pay what my percentage is, whether it's 2.5%, 3%, whatever it will be. But the fact is that the value I bring to it, they're either going to see it or they don't. Now, what I'm going to do is not only explain the value, again, I'm going to prove the value. So I'm going to provide evidence of why I am as good as I am and why I am a great agent to work with and why they're going to get a really, really great results when working with me, an easy transaction and so on. I'd say 98% of the transactions I do, they're pretty smooth for the most part. However,
98%?
I'm going to go with 98, yeah,
Wow.
because you know why? Because I have people like you that is a very good attorney. I have an inspector
I'm doing all your 2%.
who is extremely good, and then that's top notch. And then I'll have a lender that's extremely good that knows what they're doing. So the fact is, the team makes the transaction very smooth. Now, does that mean it always goes that way? No. But at the same time, if you preempt, if you're constantly asking questions, if you're constantly educating, and you're constantly making it so they know the value of who you are, they're not going to have a problem with that. And if they do, well, then maybe they're not the client for you. The fact is that before, you're just choosing a person because they have a license and they can help you buy a house. Well, you know what? If you want to use your sister's, uncle's, cousin's friend, go for it. I don't know if you're going to have a great experience considering the fact that they're, a part-time agent and do 5 to 6 transactions a year when I do 35 to 40 every year. And I do over 15 to 20 million in sales. So it's up to you how you want to handle it.
Well,
And
let me just take that one step further.
Yeah.
Now. You're trying to grow your real estate practice, and you're recruiting.
I'm attracting. There's a big
You're
difference.
attracting. Thank you
I'm
very
not
much.
recruiting.
I appreciate that correction.
Okay.
But you're attracting. Well, I guess there is a big difference. Attracting means I'm
Very
getting
much.
experienced brokers that come on board as opposed to new brokers
Nope.
coming on board. No.
No. So
Explain.
recruiting is a way of sales, if you will. So in other words, if I'm recruiting someone, I'm just trying to fill a void. I'm trying to just grab somebody to put them in my network or my on my team or whatever. That's not what I want. I don't want to recruit people. I want to attract people. I want to give them a reason why they actually want to join my team. The Kamar Group is outstanding. We provide a value that no one else provides. We actually give probably more than we should to our agents. However,
Explain that more. I want to know what you give to your agents.
sure. Well, I mean, through the Kamar Group, we obviously, not only are we going to have a great reputation and do a lot of business, we have anywhere from 60 to 70 listings at any given time. Buyers, probably 150 to 200 buyers at any given time.
That's a lot.
We do a lot of business. We do over 100 million a year. And that's just the beginning, because now that we have transferred over to a different brokerage that is a cloud-based, that's all tech and so on, we're going to expand this exponentially. I'm very excited about it. So the value that we give. So we're going to make sure that when I'm helping you buy a property, you give me your terms and I send a template in to my ops team. They're phenomenal. They get on it quickly. They provide a great professional looking email along with all the information on it, everything there, all your docs, everything you need for disclosures, everything you need for that, for that professional aspect coming through to the other side that, let's say we're offering on a property, right?
Okay.
So they get it. They're going to call. They're going to say, hey, we're just put an offer in. Hey, please confirm receipt. Hey, so-and-so. Then they're going to let me know. Then I reach out to that client. It's a very seamless process that goes very smooth. And then the other side, if you're working with people who do a lot of business, such as yourself, they're going to see that you're very professional as well. So they're going to want to work with you versus maybe someone else out there that is not as professional. On top of that, we take care of all your marketing. We take care of everything in regards to making sure that your MLS, your feeds are taken care of, your docs are put in. I mean, everything. You're not writing your own contract anymore, right?
You need accountable.
You need to know how to do that contract, but at the same time, we will do it for you. So therefore, it's very professional. The fact is, as realtors, you're not supposed to do a contract, period. And I used to lose business because I couldn't put a contract back together fast enough. And then when I was putting that contract together fast enough, I'll throw myself on my sword. I screwed up because I was trying to do it so quickly because I was working with 5 clients at the same time. So we provide a value where you will not get that anywhere else. We also pay for all your leads. So they're free leads. There's a ton that we do. We mentorship, coaching, so on. So I could go on and on.
No, that's valuable. I really appreciate it.
Of course.
And Joey, I want to hear a little bit from you. I think you and I kind of have the same business model. We want the business to grow. All right. I want to hire more inspectors. We need to bring on like 3 more right now. And I'm getting people that ask to come on board, and when we interview them or take them out on site, we're like, yeah, you're not gonna do well for us, because, like what Steve was mentioning earlier, everything's about your reputation and word of mouth. That's where the real value comes in. For us, it's the reviews. And I do know that when you make somebody angry, they tend to do angry things, and they'll leave bad reviews or something else that can harm your business. All right. You guys just don't take any mortgage officer, loan broker. Originator, I think is the right term, right?
Yeah, loan officer, mortgage banker. It depends on where you're at. But no, we really don't. And to be honest, I feel like being a loan officer, you're either going to love it or you're going to hate it. It's kind of meticulous, and some people just don't like looking at numbers all the time. That's the back end of it. But yeah, we don't really just take anybody.
Yeah, I would guess you have to be pretty detailed, oriented, but also patient, because every client is not going to be someone who is well organized. When you ask them for documents, I mean, if you ask whatever documents you need from me, I probably have them because I'm a lawyer and I have, it's.
You're an experienced lawyer.
But part of my life is filing every single document that I come in.
A loquacious, experienced lawyer. I'm going to start doing this.
Well, that is one thing I
that?
typically do. I can get a vibe if someone is not good at uploading documents, and I'll usually hold that pre-approval until I get them. Because once that pre-approval's out, you're never going to get documents, if they're bad at being organized.
But having the patience to, coach someone who is in that situation in order, because you're not going to be like, hey, look, you're just not, you're not the right client for me because you're not easy to work with. That would probably be a better way of going about things.
You might as well not be in this business if you think that's going to be the case.
I wish. Man.
There are challenging buyers, there are challenging sellers, there are challenging people.
Tech savvy, like they can't necessarily even get like a bank statement to me, So I have driven to meet someone before to get a paper bank statement.
Driven to what?
to meet people before.
Oh, I thought
Like,
you said. I thought you mentioned it was a place. Okay.
Yeah,
gotcha.
no. I drove to meet
Yeah.
the client because they just couldn't figure out how
I've
to
done
give me a
that too,
statement. And I'm
yeah.
like, I'll just come get it. I'll scan. It'll take me 5
Or
minutes.
they're old school, so they don't do the DigiSign, the DocuSign,
and they have to.
And they're
I
like,
mean, you don't.
"Can you bring
have
me
to.
the
We're-
documents?"
we're-
And it's like, "Sure," and it's not a problem, but it's like some people need a little bit more. Okay, a little bit more finesse, a little bit more coaching,
Yeah.
and kind of hand holding, if you
The
will.
Well, what you're
convenience
saying
could be
about turning,
inconvenient.
Joe,
Right.
what you're saying about not sending it to underwriting, that's part of your claim to fame, and please tell me if it's not true anymore, and I'll respect it if it isn't, because I think this is a huge claim to fame. You guys have never had a loan that was pre-approved not closed because of paperwork.
Yeah, due to borrower qualification, we've never had a loan. We have a 100% close rate on that. I mean, people will back out for
For
inspection.
different reasons,
Yeah.
the house doesn't go,
Yeah.
whatever, but not for that reason. In other words, you guys did your job,
Yeah.
so that underwriter isn't going to say, "Oh yeah, you missed this."
Yeah, and this is what I would say is
It's
back to that
huge.
point is before I give out a pre-approval, actually our whole team, we collect all the docs that the underwriter is going to want. So and that's how we're able to move the file fast too, because I think we're averaging 17 to 21 day closes right now.
Wow.
But it's because you have a full file up front. prior
And
to giving-
Patrick, you're a little bit different on this. I mean, you
I am different.
are because you're one person, and you make everything a personal contact with every client. All right, and I know you have assistants, but you still are involved with every single transaction, and you do it personally.
Yeah, I have aides to help me.
Right, which
You
is
know.
okay. That's normal. Well, I guess not normal for a lot of people.
Now, having
But-
aides is not normal, usually.
I don't know if that was a joke or whatever or
no.
not, but anyway, I'm going to just
Not
take
touching
right
that
over
one.
and
It's an
go from
AIDS
on.
joke. Everyone loves those.
No,
You-
no,
you
no,
guys
they
aren't,
don't.
You guys aren't
No.
South Park viewers, I
You
take
didn't
it.
get pointed at for that
I'm
one.
more of a family guy. I
Look,
guess,
yeah,
but
he
that's
didn't even throw the
worse.
malarkey
Yeah.
flag at him. Wow.
Poor
We're
Patrick
gonna have
has
to-
his
we're
job
gonna
have
out,
to-
but he's silent.
We're gonna just cut that out. No, Charlie, to your point though, it's like the assistance I have is on the it's really back of the house, right? For by and large, I am where the buck stops with me. Okay, I'm not the type of person who wants to hire a bunch of paralegals to do all of the client facing work. I feel like that is you don't hire a lawyer. I've hired lawyers before where the moment you say, "Yes, I'd like to hire you," is the last time you'll ever speak to that lawyer. It wasn't a good experience. I mean, regardless of the result we got was a good result.
Yeah.
But I felt like bait and switch is not the right way to describe it, but I did feel the experience felt a little bit hollow because it was like, the connection we made, my intention or the way I was anticipating was that we were going to work together on this to get that result rather than being handed off to a paralegal. And I know there are a lot of real estate lawyers that handle it just like that, where it's like they're like the CEO of a corporation where they're essentially just working at quite a high level. And look, there are certainly things that even at this point I want to have other people handling, but not the client-facing stuff, not at all.
And I can relate to that because once I took myself out of the field and stopped doing inspections, I really felt that I lost touch with our clients and what they're looking for. And I never really had a chance to get that feedback. And that's actually one of the reasons. It was selfish. I'm not going to lie. It was
you're
selfish to
creepy.
start doing the Zoom things. And yeah, I'm creepy. Absolutely. But no, it was starting to do the Zoom things with the clients. But then it's amazing how you build that relationship of trust with the clients when you just take the time to talk and listen and explain and show them up on the screen. I got to say, if anything COVID did for our industry, it made that Zoom stuff, pretty much the norm.
Yeah, Zoom is ubiquitous now. It used to be sort of this thing where it's like, what is that?
I don't know. Is it ubiquitous? You mean a thing that you spread open when it's raining outside?
I thought it was a
Is that
plant.
an umbrella?
Yeah, that's an umbrella. Sorry. I think it's all the same thing. Patrick, if somebody wants to learn some more big words, how do they get hold of you, please?
You call me.
There it is. That's better.
Find me social media.
Oh no!
There we
Get
go.
ripped by
Oh.
another attorney
Oh, God,
on
it's getting
YouTube
worse.
here saying it's okay to use big words, but
Hey.
I'm loving it.
Loftus_law on Instagram, the gram, IG, Insta. On TikTok, the clock app, whatever you want to call it, the one that's getting banned soon, Loftus Law.
Patrick is giving a lot of knowledge. I learned that's a new word right now. He's
Knowledge?
No, giving.
Oh, sorry.
I guess that's the. I'm going to get young right quick. He's giving intelligence. Anyway, Joey, how do they get hold of you? How do they get hold of you, Joey?
Gen Z, like, are you Benjamin Button or something? Like,
I was watching the comedy shows, and I guess there's some big modeling thing in New York or something but that was like the new
Met
phrase.
Gala?
Yeah, they're giving, corporate leadership. They're giving, I think like giving off a vibe is what I think it means.
You're giving mid right now.
I'm giving a knucklehead is what I'm giving, yeah.
Joey Olson, just call or text me, 708-969-0827.
Steve Davis, Real Brokerage, Kamar Group, 312-513-6314, 312-513-6314. You can find me on social media on Instagram at I'm Steve Davis, and as well on Facebook.
You could do a lot with that real name. So what I'm thinking is, Real Madrid. Real means royal in Spanish, if I'm not mistaken. So you guys could be Real Brokerage. Royal, I don't know. I'm just thinking you could have you could sponsor soccer teams. You could do a lot with that, with the Real moniker. So just giving you some ideas.
My son's listening right now, and he just...
What's he saying this time?
He's real happy that somebody made a South Park reference to this whole thing. But what he doesn't know is I just told a story of the guy in his ambulance that one day that said, "You're not going to take me alive, copper." And I guess that is a little bit private joke. But anyway,
with that big
my
old
name
butt.
is Charlie Bellefontaine. I own Chicagoland Home Inspectors. Our website is www.thehomeinspectors.com. And we also own Home Inspection University of Illinois. That's HIUIL.com. And then if you want to get hold of me by phone, it's 312-544-9180. And we were talking about the NAR settlement again. I want to get back to that stuff. And it's going to be, what about like a la carte type services, because the buyers are going to be paying the brokers. Do you think that there's a market for that? I'll do this for this price, this for this price, and so forth?
Sure, of course there'll be a market for that. I mean, everyone's going to want to deal.
It's tried though, Steve, right? All these ideas have been tried. All right, you had Zillow was trying to go and take over for realtors, and then they joined forces, right? Everyone that's come into the business to disrupt it, so to speak. Redfin just took their agents off of salary. So their agents are now going to be working more like traditional agents. So
really?
The model, every single time that, there are low-cost brokerages that offer essentially what you are saying, which is we'll put you on the MLS for $400 or whatever it is, and you do all the work. You're going to show the house, you're going to stage it, you're going to make sure all of that. Yeah. All of this is available, and still the vast majority of transactions happen with realtors involved, and they happen with a percentage commission. No one has come to the table with an idea that other people, that the majority of people say, you know what, that is the better approach. So like it or not, tell me what your solution is to the problem, and tell me then how it's not been tried already.
This is your largest asset. There's three main things you do in your life that are your most important things that you will do to make decisions. One, having a kid. Number two is getting married. And number three is buying a house. So the fact is that your largest asset that you are buying or possibly purchasing a home, do you really want someone who's going to do an a la carte for you? Do you really want someone's like, it's $1,000 and I'll take care of everything? There's been awesome memes or whatever you'd call them on TikTok or Facebook or whatever it would be, Instagram, where the guy's like, yep, it's $1,000. All right, sign here. Okay, great. And then they go, okay, we go to the house. They open the door. They go, okay, go ahead. And they go, what? And they're like, yeah, I'm going to go sit in the car. Go ahead. I open the door for you. That's $1,000. Give me my $1,000. all right, you
That'll
good?
get
All right,
you
I'm
a
out.
fine from the IDPR.
Yeah,
so
and then he's like, all right, I'm out.
either.
And he walks down the street, and the guy's like, wait, I just paid him $1,000. Well, that's what you get. So the fact is that, again, this is your largest asset. I cannot emphasize this enough. Do you want a mediocre or an inexperienced person working on your behalf to help you sell your house, to help you purchase a house? I don't know about you, but being a first-time home buyer at one point, like I was, that was the scariest thing in the world. I don't care if I'm a realtor. That is a scary situation. And I even reached out to my mentor when I was actually buying my own house because I was like, I am nervous. I don't know what I'm doing. And I'm a realtor. So the fact is, now that was a long time ago, but it's important to have the right education, the right knowledge when you go into something like that.
The fact is, most people do need an advisor in this situation. That is fact. Okay,
It is fact, but they don't know they need it. That's my argument. All
They-
right?
they'll
It's-
know it pretty quick when they
Joey,
get.
Oh, they're gonna
they'll
know
learn
it.
the hard way.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
absolutely right.
Once
We
the
all
deal
go to
falls
school.
through.
They're going to go to the College of Hard Knocks, and Joey said it too. He's like, well, we just make everything look easy that everybody can do this sort of stuff. You're absolutely right. So now that's where I wanted to start at the very beginning. If it looks so easy and everybody thinks, and let's be realistic, a lot of people think home inspectors are a bunch of buffoons. A lot of people think real estate brokers
yes.
are a bunch of buffoons.
Yeah, that's
All
a
right?
perfect example. Is the fact of like these different things that we all do.
Yeah.
Like I could do numbers, not really,
I
but I
know
could
the
do
value.
numbers, right? I could tell people and say cool words and be an attorney. No, I can't. And
Those aren't cool
I could
words.
jump in an attic and be like, oh, that's mold. I don't know what I'm talking about. The fact is that you have to have a professional to do these things, and you're going to pay the money that cost them to do. Could you do it all about rates when it comes to buying a house? Sure, but you are not smart if you do that. You need to go with someone who is not only going to take care of you now, but throughout the entire transaction, communicate with you the entire transaction, communicate with your agent and your attorney the entire transaction, so it goes smooth. But guess what? If you pay a guy $500 and he's like, well, I've got a loan officer degree, blah, 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 whatever the hell it is, a license, that's not even possible. But you get what I'm saying. Like, there's not a la carte here.
I actually do have a story related to this. So
Yeah?
I wasn't hard selling this client, but she was definitely shopping rate. That was like her main thing. So I was trying to explain to her, like, there's a lot more than just rate.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot that goes into this. Rate is one aspect you should be aware of. Long story short, I lost her to someone else for rate. And I texted her, I tried to be like, I wasn't happy about it, but I sent her a text. I'm like, hey, if anything happens, call me. If you need anything just still reach out to me. 3 weeks later, I get a call. The other lender, she shopped me on rate, could not close a loan. And now I talked to her. I'm like, so this is what I was trying to say. I didn't want to be pushy, but I'm like, she hadn't talked to a lender in 3 weeks. Then she got notice that it was denied. And I'm like, how much is that worth to you to not have had to deal with that stress? I'm like, can you put a number on that? And I'm like, you tried saving $20, let's say, a month. And I'm like, what was that stress? If I could avoid it for you, what would that be? Can you put a dollar amount on that?
Right.
And then I turned around and closed it in 2 weeks.
It's
like no joke.
frustrating, isn't it, when that stuff happens?
It is. But Charlie, here's the thing: it's reality, right? It's the same thing as when someone's going to go to a different inspector because you're $20 more. I'm 2.5. This other guy's 2%.
Yeah.
Hopefully, he gives you the best service. It's the
Well,
same
and
thing as a
that's
lender, same thing as an attorney. Patrick he charges what he charges.
Right.
Do I know attorneys that charge less? Yes. Do I know attorneys that charge more? Yes, I do. But you know what? What he brings, the value that he brings, that if there is a situation or a problem, and he can be a pit bull, that's why you hired him in the first place.
And and I'm going to jump in with Joey. We just lost a gig where, our normal fee was $1,600, and somebody wanted to work with us because of our reputation, but they got a bid from somebody else for $1,000. And I'm like, okay, and I'm looking at the numbers on the size of the house and all the extras that they wanted to do. I'm like, well, the best I could do is $1,400, because we pay our people fairly well. And I said, but I will match your $1,000. I'll do that. but we're not going to do the Zoom call. We're not going to use any of the, the combustion analyzers. All the stuff that I know that other person doesn't use, we're going to match their service as well. But if you want my service for their price, that's not going to happen.
Right.
We're
That
talking
makes no sense.
$300 or $400 difference in the fee. But again, if you don't see the value in it, well, I'll match it if you're willing to get away with it.
Yeah.
But it's not going to be there. So I
Yeah.
don't know. And I'm doing that in the commercial ones now. I'm giving people 3 options because I get, especially with the multifamily ones, when we're getting like these 10, 12 units, they honestly, I shouldn't say they as a grouping because now I'm being prejudiced, but I'm finding that many of these buyers of these multifamily buildings don't really care about the interiors of the units. They just want to know that they're there and that there's water flowing and they have heat and that's it. And there's no gigantic holes in them.
And they cash flow.
And well, that's the numbers
Yeah,
and stuff
yeah.
like that. And
Well,
Pat, I
and
cut you
they're,
off. I'm
they're
sorry.
also going to be professionals who, it's probably not their first rodeo. They've seen it before, and that's a different type of client entirely. And we're talking when we talk about, mainly our discussions relate to a typical consumer buyer. I mean, Joey, correct me if I'm wrong, but if I'm willing to pay upfront interest from buying points, I can pretty much have whatever rate I want within some kind of reason. So,
Yeah, you
people
can-
out there who are shopping and they're strictly looking at the rate, it's really you're shopping for something that is so much more than just that one small aspect of it. And you will have, and I know the other Joey has talked about how there are people out there, there's mortgage brokers out there that will give you a rate that looks really tantalizing, and why is that? It's because you're paying $6,000 in points. And they go, but the rates, and it's like, but it's
Some of this stuff's got it. Well, isn't there truth in lending or something like that
Well,
that protects the buyer?
have you seen those loan estimates?
Yeah.
Do you think that the average consumer can evaluate a loan estimate and side by side and say, I understand what I'm looking at? Because I'll tell you what, I can't.
Yeah, so I do. If someone's shopping me, I definitely tell them what to be conscious of. I'm like, because I don't. If shop
we
me if
have
you
to
want,
educate
I
the
don't
buyer.
mind.
Yeah.
But a lot of times I'll even tell them show me the loan estimate because I'll be like, there's the points right there. There'll be a.
Oh, it's always in the fine detail. It's always in the fine print.
It's listed, but you're looking at a bunch of numbers,
yeah.
and you need someone to translate it for you in reality. I mean, I look at them every day. Most people look at it like once or twice in their life, maybe 3 times.
It's
I just
interesting.
send him to the VA loan nerd and let him look it
Yeah,
over.
yeah.
I'm
Well,
serious. What would
yeah.
take me,
Yeah.
3 hours, and an Excel spreadsheet takes him 5 minutes and a couple of
Yeah.
text messages to me about, how is this one different from the other one?
Yep. Yeah, you can. When you write them and you look at them consistently, you can find the difference.
It's
pretty
the same
fast.
thing. It's the same thing at any document that's like, oh, this is a cheaper way to go or whatever type thing. So like for the loan aspect, I used to have clients, or sometimes every once in a while I still have clients like, oh, I talked to Rocket Mortgage. What do you call it? Talk to an 800 number. Great. What was her name? What was his name? I don't remember. Oh, good. So I'll never get a hold of him ever again.
Yeah.
More importantly is, did you see the fine print? Because it says they charge you 4.5, or they're going to give you a 4.5%. I think this was at that time. But actually, if you look at the fine print, it actually shows that they're going to throw the 2% into your loan itself anyway. So now there is no deal. And the fact is that you're not going to have someone you can talk to directly, and they're not going to communicate effectively with your agent. I mean, it just goes on and on and on. You spoke of the NAR thing. You spoke of the listing agreement. Okay, I got a new one for you. So check this out. So Zillow has a new
7-day.
document that came out that is literally a buyer rep agreement for 7 days, right? So you see this property, you sign, and it says, all right, for 7 days, you are mine, essentially, right? So in other words, you have to work with me because you signed this document for 7 days. After the 7 days, guess how they're going to make it keep going? Oh, they're going to say, well, we're going to sign another 7 days and another 7 days. Wow, I don't know about you, but again, largest asset, this random crappy ass paperwork and something that means nothing, and this agent that's not going to do their job anyway. Yeah, I'm going to hire them. No, I don't think so. That's a really bad
People
idea.
will, though. You know that.
Well, then I
People are gonna
I
do
don't. I hope they don't have a bad experience. But at the same time, when they come to me crying, I'm going to be like, well, maybe you should listen to me in the first place.
Look,
No disrespect, but this
But
is.
that happens still now today.
Yeah.
You know,
Look,
and I know I sent you.
I've
that one
lost.
that you're
I've lost
working
the
with.
patience with people that don't listen. I am having a hard time with that now. I'm trying to be respectful. I will be respectful, but I also will look at them and say, so I hear what you're saying, so I'll validate it, and then I'll say, maybe you should have listened to a professional. Now do you want to get down to business?
You will not give them the old "I told you so."
No, it's not. I told you so. I didn't just say that. You just said that.
I did.
But I will say now
I
maybe
heard
you
I
listen to a
told you so.
professional.
I did.
We had a situation that you worked with someone and they had a bad experience with an agent, and fortunately you introduced me to them, and now they are extremely comfortable, and I am very proud to say that.
Yeah.
And I can't wait till I get a video testimonial for them when they're done, because they're going to tell what the experience was like then and what the experience is like now.
And that's the whole
So-
idea about getting to learn somebody. So we did have a question, Patrick. I guess this is for you. The NAR settlement, they're asking, is that an Illinois thing or is it a nationwide thing?
Nationwide, definitely nationwide. And one aspect of it that I kind of flew under my radar is that I didn't realize that by and large most real estate brokers, when they are working, and when I say real estate broker here in Illinois, you're either a real estate broker or you're a managing broker. In other states, it's different. So I guess what I'll default to is realtor, even though not everyone's a realtor. Let's not get bogged down in the minutia here. But most realtors don't have their buyer clients sign a written representation agreement. I was under the assumption that would be a regular practice that managing brokers would be requiring, but apparently not. And
I bet you here in Illinois, they're going to be changing the law to make that a requirement. And
Well,
you can
it's-
actually be disciplined as a real estate broker because of it. It's in our law,
Well,
a home inspector law, that we have to have that agreement signed before we begin.
Sure, and it's certainly a good idea. I make my clients. I have
keep
my
saying
clients.
that's to defend us, not to defend the client.
Well, no
that
doubt.
agreement.
It's let's just say it somewhat differently. It's the agreement is to set the expectations. All right,
Sure.
You're putting it in writing. This is what I am going to do for you. This is what I expect from you, and you're setting things off in the right direction automatically. And for any real estate brokers who are having trepidation about, I don't know how I'm going to have people sign these things because I never had them do that before. Number one, make it part of your process. Okay, whatever your process is for selling yourself, bringing in a new buyer client, it's got to be, hey, part of this before we tour homes. Let's meet for coffee or let's meet whatever. But before we tour homes together, I have to have this agreement and have it. They can e-sign it on their phone and you're good to go. Okay, because all that's doing, they were going to do the thing that they meant to do in the first place, which is tour a home with you. This is just an added step. Now, they may ask some questions. They may want to negotiate that with you. And at that point, sure, it'll be time to either say, look, I don't negotiate this. This is my standard agreement, and I have everyone sign it. I don't negotiate individual agreements with all of my individual clients. It's just easier that way. What I tell people when they go, well, will you charge, can you take $100 off? I say, look, if I negotiated with every client and then I'm trying to figure out who's paying me what, I don't want, even though in my mind, in my conscious mind, I believe that I would give everyone the same service no matter if I've cut my fee or not. What I know is subconsciously, and nobody wants or needs this, that if I've got someone paying me less because they were able to negotiate with me, I may subconsciously pull a punch here and there. And look, I'm sorry if that sounds bad,
It does sound
but
bad. Yeah.
I'm speaking just knowing human
Gotcha.
nature, and I don't want to insert that ever into a scenario unless you're my mom or my dad or someone very close to me. You're still going to pay me. Well, my mom and dad don't pay me anything when I represent them for stuff, but everyone else has got to pay something.
No, and I get you. I mean, I also give or get people that ask me for matching prices and discounts and stuff like that. And sometimes I do it, sometimes I don't. It all depends on how much is being purchased and how many people I have to send. I mean, we have to turn a profit. We're a business. And, at the end of the day, I like I said, I need to make money and that's it. But when we do give a discount, when it does happen, I don't even want to know it. I'll do it, I'll plug it in there, and then I want to forget it because I really don't want that subconscious feeling of, oh, you asked me to reduce my price, so I'm not going to like you, and I'm not, I don't even want to think that way.
No. And I've even gone so far as to tell people, look, if you think I haven't delivered on the amount that I'm charging you at the end, just tell me. And, the next one, I'll maybe we will have an opportunity to negotiate. But honestly, I'm not for someone who's price shopping. And there's plenty of people who aren't price shopping. There's plenty of people who are. And that's okay. If you're a consumer who shops based on price, that's cool. Yeah. No problem. I don't feel any kind of way. If when I get a call and they say, hey, I'm looking for a real estate attorney, how much do you charge? And I say what I charge. And they go, thanks, I'll be in touch. I know that person's probably not going to call me back, but I also know that wasn't a right fit. Yeah. They should go find one of the lawyers, Google them. They'll charge you $125 to represent you in a real estate transaction. And, that might be for you. You might be willing to accept a lower level of service to save that money. That's fine, but That's not me.
We got 3 minutes left in the show. You guys ready for the question that takes 6 hours to answer?
I mean, I've been waiting for it since you said 5.
I know, exactly. It comes from there. But anyway, it is going to be quick, and it's more of a story. My son would just text me a big, long message about when he bought his first condo up in Rogers Park, up on Lakefront. He was a fireman, and there was a policeman. There was also a real estate broker, and he really felt that, the real estate broker at that point in time didn't help, didn't take him into consideration. They made the appointment, go here, blah, blah, blah. It was just more of a paper shuffle thing. And that, we are a prejudicial society. I'm going to say it over and over again. When something bad happens to us, all of a sudden we group everybody else in that profession. We think, oh, they're all the same. All the real estate agents, all the mortgage brokers, all the attorneys, all the home inspectors, they're all the same. I get it. And I think that's what we're all trying to do right here is how do we get that message out there that's saying that there's some really good quality people out there that take this job pretty damn serious.
The other thing I would say, too, about that is your son is going to remember his agent for 2 reasons. One is the good way, and the other is the bad way.
That is
so
so
if
true.
he remembers his name, it's because he did not have a great
really
experience.
Good or really bad.
Right,
well,
exactly.
He hired a part-timer, it sounds like, which was, mistake number 1.
80% of licensed real estate agents
80?
haven't done a transaction last year.
Well, they did
it's
what
higher
was
than
it, 2
that?
to 3?
Last year was a slow year.
2 to 3. Yeah. So like 2 to 3, right? 60%, like 2 to 3%.
I don't know.
Or 2
the
to 3
numbers.
transactions, I think, a year for the last year.
Oh,
It was insane.
I mean, the average is way low because so many of the ones that aren't doing much drag the average down.
I don't know how you live.
It's
I don't
the
know
same
how
with real
you
estate
run a business.
lawyers. Like real estate lawyers average, across the board, 1 real estate transaction a year. I'm doing 100.
We got to wrap it up, Patrick. Give us your contact info quickly, please.
Insta Loftus_law, TikTok Loftus Law.
And Joey, please.
Joey Olson, 708-969-0827.
Steve Davis, Kamara Group, Real Brokerage, 312-513-6314.
And Charlie Bellefontaine, Chicagoland Home Inspectors, 312-544-9180. And seriously, all 3 of you guys. And Devin Tingle, our producer, for making everything work. Thank you. It's stuff like this where I really like talking about. I feel the passion, and you're all valuable to me for what it means. All right? I think that you all do a great job. So again, my name is Charlie Bellefontaine. You've been listening to HomeBuyer's Hour on WCPT AM 820. We appreciate you for listening, and